Greetings and welcome back, you tavern brawling knuckle dusters. I don't know where I was going with that. This is the Angry Chicken Brawl for an evil exchange, Rafaam versus Kel'Thuzad. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and I'm sitting here with Jocelyn Moffat and Willie Dills Gregory. Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
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 We
Brother.
didn't know if we'd be here this week, but here we are.
Yeah, we didn't, but it's a brand new brawl.
It is.
And we have just
It's a
enough
cool one.
Yeah, it is. I'm digging it. I'm liking it. It's another boss on boss, adventure versus adventure mode, and I'm sure Jocelyn couldn't have anything negative to say because she didn't have to build a deck this week.
Didn't have to build a deck.
I was gonna say this is the first time in a while that I've really liked this brawl. I've played it past when I got my pack. It's a miracle.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that, Jocelyn. So you've had a good time with it?
I have. It's really fun, and I like these brawls where they're boss battles where you have to queue in and it takes you a few times potentially to get the other boss and see the other side of play. I don't know. I like it. I find these ones really replayable. That's probably just me, but
Yeah, I'm definitely not quite in that boat. I did really enjoy the brawl, but not one of the ones I want to replay a bunch of times. Go get my dailies done in. Although this one's actually kind of hard to do a daily in because
well, that's true. Yeah, because you can't
Yeah.
choose your classes.
It needs
So
to be
you
win
can get your wins
7 games or whatever. Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
win 7 games, or if you have the Tavern Brawl daily.
Yeah.
Or what about if it was destroy minions that cost more? Do those work?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had the one
That
that was,
works.
I think, play minions, 40 minions under a certain cost or whatever. I had that one and it counts. So it's just the class ones that you can't do.
All right.
Yep. So yeah, it's a fun brawl. You get to control your well, you're not your choice of boss. It's coin flip. You either end up as Rafaam or you end up as Kel'Thuzad, and the other player gets whatever. So Kel'Thuzad starts with 30 health and 30 armor. Rafaam starts with just straight up 60 health. Kel'Thuzad's hero power is necromancy.
Can you guys tell me why? Does anybody know why?
There's literally no reason.
Is there shield slam in Kel'Thuzad that I
Nope.
didn't see? Okay. All right.
No
Just
shield
a
slam.
weird way to
And
differentiate
there's nothing,
the two.
yeah,
All right.
there's nothing that interacts with health at all. So it's not like there's maybe,
Okay. I thought I was
Yeah.
missing something.
I mean,
but-
there's no battle rage.
Okay.
Rafaam with his hero power has the chance of getting minions that heal him. But
Yes.
arguably,
I
he
guess.
also has a chance of getting minions that use armor. Like he could get,
But
or give
that
armor, I
doesn't
guess.
really give a reason for KT
Well,
to
okay.
have armor over health.
Here we go. I got it. If you get random Alex Straza from Rafaam's hero power, you don't just knock his health all the way from 60
That's
to
what it
15.
is.
Boom.
Bam.
Solved.
but why
Detective
doesn't
Dill's on the case.
why doesn't Rafaam just have 30 armor as well?
I don't
Why
know.
is there the differentiation
Yeah.
between
That I don't
health and armor?
Detective Dills is off that case. He's pulling himself off that case.
He will now
He
return.
solved one today. That's good enough.
He will now return through his door that has a small piece of glass with his name on it. To
And just drink whiskey in a dark room.
Yeah,
And
to
hope
s-
some damsel in distress walks through
Well,
the door.
I was going to say that you're going to sit there and pick the gum off the bottom of your shoe, but fine. You went with
That was very on the nose there, Garrett. Very on the nose.
you went with the damsel in distress. Okay, fine. Be that way. Well, it's gonna be Jessica Jones, and she's going to break your window multiple times. Alrighty then. Well, I really want to know now why he has 60 health instead of 30 armor. So Kel'Thuzad's his hero power is
Could heal Rafaam back to 60.
Which seems crazy overpowered.
right.
Ooh, wait, is that right?
He
Okay,
could,
so-
in theory. I
He
mean,
could, yeah.
Yeah.
It's unlikely because his deck has 2 Dark Peddlers, 2 Slithering Archers, 2 Keepers of Aldemon, 2 Tomb Pillagers, and 2 Ethereal Conjurers, not to mention multiple spells that there are 2 of. So that's most likely.
That's pretty tough to have
not
happen.
going
But
to happen.
if you were to get Reno Jackson, he was highlighted yellow, which as we know now.
That happens now.
And yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Okay, there we go. Detective, who was that? Detective Neon Tech. Boom. Good job.
Detective Neon Tech in the chat room. Just Detective Chat Room. Detective Chat Room on the case. All right, can we talk about hero powers now?
Yeah, okay, let's
Okay.
move on.
Yeah.
Are we done detecting? So Kel'Thuzad is his hero power is necromancy. It costs 2 mana, and for that 2 mana, you get to resurrect a random friendly minion that died this game. And it's stupid powerful.
It's pretty
But
good.
don't ever play your haunted creepers.
No,
'Cause
don't.
then you just end up
There's
with
no
ghost
reason.
spiders
Don't play.
everywhere.
Don't play Haunted Creepers. Don't play Mad Scientists.
Yeah, but you have secrets. Don't you want to get those secrets for free? I think it's still worth it because you still also have the chance of, reviving your big dudes as well.
It
Yeah,
is.
there could be an argument for mad scientists, but I think there's a really good argument against playing
To
your
just
haunted
mulligan
creepers.
away your haunted creeper?
Yeah, because with your creepers, like you've got your 1/2 creeper, and then you've also got the ghost spiders, so you could summon any one of those three, which aren't really that powerful late game.
But there's also other ways to get unpowerful minions that kind of suck anyway. So I don't think you should really play around having your hero power kind of suck. I think it just kind of sucks sometimes, but sometimes.
But the more
is
times,
amazing, right?
the more times that it pulls the creeper or the ghost spider, the more
Oh, yeah, and
times
then they die again.
yeah,
Sure,
they
sure.
die again, and then it makes it worse and worse and worse. So it kind of snowballs. So
Yeah.
if you don't play your creepers, it's actually more powerful.
I mean, the best case scenario, if you get KT, is that the coin actually going second, because if you get Hagen the Unclean, he's pretty dope. You play him on turn 2 with the coin, and if they kill him, you just keep bringing back this 4/5 minion that deals 4 damage to a random enemy at the end of your turn, and then hopefully it's unlikely that you won't. It's very likely that you'll have a 4-drop that you'll be able to play. I mean, Gluth, Gothic the Harvester, Grand Widow, Faralina, Lady Blamew. How do you pronounce that? Anyways,
Blau
that I believe so.
That's my little bit of kind of
Yeah.
Canadian French.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm trying to say is Kel'Thuzad has a lot of really good 4-drop minions as well. So if you can coin out, if you get lucky and get Hagen the Unclean, which I did in my very first game and I had the coin, and then I pulled the Gothic the Harvester it's just stupid. It snowballs out of control.
Yeah.
That being said, I immediately, upon playing this, guys, I was just like, Kel'Thuzad's broken. How do you beat this guy? Because on Rafaam's end, it's complete randomness. His hero power ramps up. It starts as the first piece of the Staff of Origination, and it adds a random minion that costs 5 or less to your hand. If you cast the 3-mana spell that tacks on another piece, it becomes 2 pieces of the staff, and it adds a random minion to your hand that and it costs 2 mana less.
Yes.
So it's like
and there's
having-
no mana, there's no under 5.
No
It's
mana
just
ceiling,
minion
yeah.
costs
Yeah.
you less, yes.
So it's basically like Unstable Portal, but
Yeah.
slightly less.
super unstable portal.
Yes.
2 less instead of 1.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then there's if you cast your 3-mana spell one more time, you fully upgrade it to Staff of Origination, and it adds a random legendary minion to your hand, and it costs 4 less. I mean, that's a good use of 2 mana. If you're not me and you got Millhouse, first time I did this, Millhouse. Second time was Nat Pagle, I believe.
I got last time in the last game I actually did win. My final 2 were Lore Walker Cho and Nat Pagle. But I still won the game.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's sometimes it happens, yes.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get Deathwing. And
I
sometimes
was
you
gonna
get
say, I
Tyrion.
think I got Boom and Tyrion. Like as I'm saying this, I'm just like, yeah, I can win with Rafaam, but I can see how Garrett can lose.
Yep, exactly. So anyway, so my gut reaction when I first tried and had my first attempt at playing both heroes, I was like, man, Kel'Thuzad is so strong. But I have been hearing from many people, including you, Jocelyn, and many listeners on Twitter, that they're just wiping the floor as Rafaam.
Yeah.
So,
I think KT is technically the stronger hero, but not in a completely broken way. It's just it's stronger if you can't get the 2 pieces of the staff put together. You're not going to win as Rafaam.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. So once you get that going, you can just snowball the game out of control, and they cannot. KT just doesn't have enough tools and enough. And the minions on KT's side, while some of them are pretty good, you'll notice that a lot of them have pretty weak stats for the mana cost, but then they also do something kind of amazing. But if you can continue to kind of wipe the board as Rafaam, they don't do stuff that's nearly as amazing as they can if they have that board lead. So it's really just about hanging on as Rafaam and then getting that super crazy hero power and then snowballing out of control from there. But yeah, I won. I think I've won about even with both of them. So, it's definitely that I think you're right, Garrett. KT is definitely stronger, but I don't think it's like some out of control thing like we had before.
yeah, I'd be really.
KT is really he's consistent. Like you can build a strategy with KT, and that's a little bit harder to do with Rafaam because of the element of randomness. So I think stronger players will probably gravitate to Rafaam and kind of be a little bit better at piloting him. I think for a lot of people who play Tavern Brawl, and especially who play repeat Tavern Brawls, they tend to be, newer players. And I think for them, KT absolutely is the stronger boss. I almost said God. Boss.
Not a god. Just
well,
a
I mean, if you worship KT, that's your own personal choice.
Yep.
And no one can tell you otherwise.
No judgments.
This is America. Yep. Freedom of religion.
Ish.
This is America-ish, yeah.
America-ish.
Like, I'm in America. Okay.
The Angry Chicken is 2/3 American.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so by the law
Ain't
of...
America.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. By a motion of 2 against 1, the motion passes. The Angry Chicken is American.
Damn
I
it.
think in Azeroth, there's freedom of religion too, right? I think that's
I
how
think
it
so.
works. Yeah, I would assume so.
Yes, until your religion tries to summon Kill Jaden, and then
Yeah, if your religion is trying to summon old gods, if you're dark and stuff,
then a group of
then we're coming for you.
Then a
But
group
yeah,
of-
outside of that,
a group of 25 adventurers with a bunch of armor and weapons will show up at your doorstep to kill you. Which is
repeatedly too, every week, once a week,
yeah,
without fail. We'll schedule it.
over and over. We'll schedule it. What's on your calendar this week? Well, I have scheduled murder time with my friends.
Yep.
2 times
these
this week.
guys' houses. We're gonna murder them.
It starts at 8. It starts at 8 p.m. I have to have my potions
2
ready.
times a week from 8 to 10. Yep.
Wonderful, so freaking wonderful. But yeah, I would be really interested to see the hard statistics from this brawl, because I'm just curious, because I'm with you, Jocelyn. Like, Kel'Thuzad seems the more consistent. I feel like over enough games you would see that maybe he would win enough, but maybe the just the chance of getting such cheap legendaries it is so ridiculous that even though it is random, that it ends up being closer to 50-50 than we may think.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be fairly close, but we won't really know until the next time this brawl comes out, and if there's adjustments made. Because what was the other one? Ragnaros versus Nefarian.
Yes.
And then we saw a bunch of changes to, what was it? Nefarian. We saw changes to. One of them one of them got tuned down a little bit.
Nefarian was the more
Nefarian
powerful
was kicking ass. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't think this one's as broken as that one was in the first iteration of it. But we won't. Yeah, we'll see, and we'll know a little bit more next time they put it out. And I hope they do. This is a really good one.
Yeah, because I feel like you could buff Rafaam easily by putting more than because you have to cast the spell Uncover Staff Piece to upgrade his.
And it costs 3 currently.
And it costs 3, and there's
Yeah.
only 2 of them in your entire deck, so you can kind of brick and not draw it, and not be able to.
Here's how they could do it though. What they could do is, like when you're playing in some of the adventures, and a card just magically appears in your hand at certain points. They could just have that happen at just intervals that are already decided. So essentially you have the 32 card deck, and 2 of the cards are those, and you always know you're going to get one on, say, turn 3, and you can decide to use turn 3 to put on the first piece, and then you get the other one on, say, like turn 6 or 7, and you can decide to put on the second piece then. Then you would know you're always going to get there at by late game, and that might make it where KT's basically trying to flood the board and win as early as possible, and Rafaam is trying to hold on and get to that late game state, and you could have some interesting stuff there. So that's one way I think they could definitely tune it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see next time, I guess. Also, it's fun to mention this is, I guess, because we've only had the Ragnaros versus Nefarian, right? Have we had any other boss battles? Am I misspeaking?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have. So this not only is this our first new boss battle, but it's the first one where it's 2 expansions battling against each other as opposed to bosses from the same expansion.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's really fun to play as... I enjoyed playing as Rafaam just because of that random element, and you just never know what's going to happen. But it's so fun to play as KT because if you raided Nax a lot, it's just really cool to just drop boss minions that you used to kill as creatures. Here's a little thing that I noticed. They are not legendaries. I didn't even pay attention. They're not legendaries until I was playing as Rafaam, and I got a Rend Blackhand, and I got a dragon, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna kill him!" Oh no, they're not legendary. They have no gem at all in them. All of those bosses. So, yeah. I got all excited, like, "Oh man, these might be real cards one day." And I was like, no, these are just brawl cards.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Also, there was another boss battle. It was the Boombot Annoyatron one.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was like, I know there was
That's
another
yeah,
time.
I
where
remember that,
you
but
did,
that was-
They're not bosses though.
Yeah,
That's a card
bosses,
battle.
but
it was a
they're
versus
characters.
thing.
Yeah, it was a versus. Yeah,
But yeah.
So it
they're
counts.
not
I'll
raid
allow it.
bosses.
But then they're not from an adventure, so it's still my point stands. This is still the first time it's an adventure versus a
Second
different
boss
adventure.
fight. Third dude on dude action.
By the way, chat room reminded me it is since the chat room reminded me has since scrolled by, but they reminded me of the other terrible legendary I got as Rafaam, Sir Finley Murgleton. Don't play him, folks.
Yeah,
do
don't
not play him.
I got him too.
Sir Finley for real. Wow. Like this
Yeah.
really OP legend or OP hero power that I've built up over several turns. I'm gonna go ahead and replace that with Ping.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I really like my 4 mana discounted for legendaries for 2 mana, but I want to do 1 damage every
Armor up
turn.
Every turn.
Yeah, I could armor up. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at Kel'Thuzad. He's got 30. It looks so fancy. I want some armor. So
I wonder what happens if you play a staff piece after you play Sir Finley. Like, would it give you your hero
wouldn't
power
be able,
back?
You wouldn't be able.
Science
You wouldn't be
must
able
be
to.
done.
Impossible because you can't summon legendaries until you play both staff pieces.
Oh yeah, you
true.
would never get a Sir Finley until you got in both staff pieces.
And there's only
Right.
2 staff pieces.
Detective Garrett on the case.
Unless, because you can get a random
Well, you
minion
can get a
that
random
costs 5 or
minion from the
less.
second one. Could be a legendary.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a chance. No, you're right.
And your second piece is just a
Yep.
random minion completely.
Yeah.
So
it could happen.
I
it could happen.
I have a feeling it would like do nothing, but who knows? So you're right. You're right. It's not
Probably,
not
yeah.
impossible.
Because it's not now. It's no longer the staff hero power, right? So
Yeah. Neon Tech
Neon-
says he saw it on stream and that nothing happens.
okay.
Okay.
I would want a way to get my staff back.
Here's the way. Don't play Sir
Yeah.
Finley Murgleton
Yeah.
True.
Keep your staff.
unless you're about to win and you like
you like to
BMing your
BM.
opponent.
BM, yeah.
Yeah.
That would actually be really sweet BM.
That would be fantastic BM. That would be so much better than dropping like 4 mules at the end of the StarCraft game.
Yeah.
Look how bad at my macro I am and I still won. Yeah. Anyways. Shall we take a crazy game story?
Actually,
do it.
before we jump into that, I had a really quick, I hope, discussion topic that is Brawl related.
Ooh, you don't say.
Yeah, so we had a release of an old god today
Yes.
that basically interacts with death rattles, which means so far we've gotten an old god with really strong battle cry and battle cry minions, and now we have a death rattle old god. So Battle of the Builds, which was I think somewhere in and around January, February, was the whole battle cry death rattle spells Murlocs brawl. Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah.
So what do you think about maybe potentially having a spell old god and some sort of like minion token old god? Do you think they could have been like testing their god things in Battle of the Builds?
Maybe. I don't know about if they were testing old god stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure they already had their plan with the old gods set a while ago, but I would like to see an old god v old god brawl for sure at some point.
Yeah, like we got.
I think that's definitely going to happen.
I think that they've already said that they're going to do brawl things heading into the expansion.
Yeah, because we had that one for TGT.
Yeah.
yeah.
I am all with Tom TP3 in the chat room who says joust old god.
God.
Oh, jeez.
No, boo.
Have
Boo.
you
Oh,
been
no.
underwhelmed with the card reveals thus far? Well, have a surprise for you.
Yeah. Then we have the Inspire old god coming out right on its heels.
At least maybe 2 out of the multiple cards in there will be usable.
I'm just imagining the Joust old god as this giant old god made out of weird tentacly things and just riding a horse. just like on a pony.
I was going to say the spectral sky pony thing. The sparkle pony. Yep.
All right, imagine years. I'm talking many, many, many years in the future. Dills, you know how in Magic they revisit planes they've been to in the past?
Oh yes. Yeah.
What if we get like Whisper of the Old Grand Tournament and the old gods have come in and kind of like what they're
Yeah.
doing with corrupted cards, but hopefully there's some that are playable.
we're talking 20 years down the road, but at some point, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll get your card. You'll get Cthulhu just on his
the
pony.
back of a unicorn or something.
I want one of them riding a turtle because that turtle that the Tuskar is riding makes my heart smile every time I look at it. So, anyways, all right, cool. I like that. I like where your head's at, Jocelyn. I hope something like that happens.
I just find myself trying to figure out what the other cards are going to be because I just want to see the rest of the expansion. So I'm spending probably way too much time trying to guess. I think I just need to relax.
Yeah, just let it happen. You know?
Just sit back and just let it happen.
Wait and yeah. At this point, it's actually I've decided I don't like this drip feed thing, but I've decided I'm just going to have fun with it. And that new warrior card, by the way, I don't need to see the rest of any sets. That card is good. That card is awesome. So excited for that.
N'Zoth's first mate.
Yes, and it's a pirate. So
And it's pirate
warrior.
Pirate N'Zoth warrior.
So you play that straight into Blood Cell Raider, 3/3 on 2, and you got a 1/3 weapon and a 1/1.
I mean, I guess
sweet.
I guess it actually makes sense that he's a pirate now that we saw the art for N'Zoth, and he's basically just a saltwater dwelling kraken.
Well, yeah, and I mean, imagine N'Zoth is a sea monster. There's got to be pirates all around. No, the legend of N'Zoth, who tentacles come up. And
I mean, actually, honestly, Dills, I have to disagree because any pirate worth their salt, see what I did there, would know to stay the hell away from wherever he is.
But
pirates are
just deep under the water.
Yeah,
you don't
he's
know
like
where
super
exactly.
duper
he is.
deep. Yeah.
Pirates are a superstitious bunch, man. I don't think they're going anywhere near N'Zoth's
But
lair.
that's the thing. They'll be scared of this sea monster. But I mean, we wouldn't have all these Kraken v pirate stories if the pirates just never ran into them. You know.
That's true. That's true. Someone get Jack Sparrow on this case. Detective Jack Sparrow, not Captain. Detective.
It's just really cool to get a peek into what these old gods are, but you're right, Jocelyn. I would love to see that where each old god has kind of a theme to it.
I think
really build around.
I think they're
have to.
going to.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the route. After now seeing N'Zoth, I think that's how this is
now
going.
watch the next one comes out. It's like it's just a 10 mana 12/12 done.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Man, I am basking in the chat room right now that thinks my hair should be its own card reveal. Thank you.
You
Guys.
should have a card in your hair, and then it's just like, oh, and there it is.
What do I have? I have a Hearthstone gift card I could try and stick in there.
There you go. Yank that out of your hair. It's a magic trick.
Not sticking in there. All right, let's take a crazy game story before we end this.
The whole world gone crazy.
You're in trouble now.
You got it.
You can send your crazy game story or email to tacpodcast@gmail.com. If it's for a Tavern Brawl episode, make sure to include Brawl somewhere in the subject line. I know this is colored for me, but I'm going to give it to Jocelyn because I've been reading these like the last, I don't know how many Tavern Brawl episodes.
What?
Yeah.
You got to work.
You missed out on
Put
an
your
email.
hard hat on. It's time to go to work.
You missed out on reading an email in the last show, so you get this one.
You just don't want to try to speak Swedish. That's really what this is about. I know.
I didn't even notice
Read the
that.
name, he's like, nope.
Yeah.
I
Not
honestly
reading the one from Johan.
honestly did not even notice that, but now that you say that and I'm looking at it, I'm like, woo, bullet dodge.
Nice
Okay, so this is from Johan. He says, "Hello, Arga Klinger?
Kicklingar?
Arga Klingar.
Which
Kicklingar.
apparently is Swedish for angry chickens.
Okay. Learned something new today.
So this came to us a while back. So he says, this week's brawl was Deal Your Fate, and I decided to play a fatigue control warrior and try to get the armor buff. I steamrolled my first games till I came across another warrior. We both chose the armor buff and started piling on the armor, and I knew I was in for a long game. The game was back and forth for a while until my opponent managed to capitalize on my mistake and mill me for one. And what did he mill, you may ask? The card that would turn my worthless draw cards into legendaries, Elise Starseeker. When we each headed into fatigue, we both had our own Justicar, and the armor count started to get a little high. 4 armor each turn for each player, plus Justicar is a little insane. At most, we had up to 140 armor each when the fatigue escalated. I realized I was going to lose if I allowed fatigue to do all the damage, so I played my Sylvanas, and my opponent didn't have an answer. Sylvanas hitting face for 5, added to fatigue, managed to get my hopes up as the armor came off quickly. Just when both players' armor was gone and I thought I would win, it happened. Both portraits exploded, and we both lost due to the turn limit. Amazing.
Wow.
It's probably the highlight of my Hearthstone week. Love the podcast. I have never hit a turn limit. I didn't know that was a thing.
There's a turn limit?
Apparently.
Yeah, I think someone had actually found this out, but let's see.
it
89
rings a
turns.
80? Oh my god.
89 turns. I'm looking it up right now just to confirm.
How has this never come up in an episode? Wow. Like,
Yeah, the moment it became turn 90, the game ended in a draw. There you go.
wow. Alrighty. Why 90? I mean, at that point,
knows?
why not just increase it to 100? So it's like, yeah, 100 turns. Okay, you guys are
Make
done.
it, yeah,
you guys
nice
are done.
yeah. Maybe those last 10 are just really terrible. So they're
Yeah.
like, you know what? We're just gonna do it at 90. It could be some sort of integer thing because your fatigue increases, exponentially or whatever. So it might be something where you just like didn't feel like counting that high. They're like, we'll just shove it off here. I don't know. Who knows, man?
You know who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe they didn't really expect anyone ever to get up that high. There's 90's enough. There's only 30 cards in the deck. What are the chances?
And then the mass vigilante disguised toast came on the scene and they said, oh no, we've made a grave error. Anyways.
Here, I'll pop in the link where I found the turn
Thanks.
limit thing.
Thank you for your email, Johan. Sorry we cannot pronounce angry chickens correctly in Swedish.
I tried. I tried so hard.
Again, keep those emails coming to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Angry Chicken Brawl. Get out there and start beating the crap out of each other as two of the most fearsome bosses in Hearthstone history. Thanks to our patrons. Big fat thanks, because we wouldn't be doing these episodes without you guys. Let's thank Jared, Travis, Ashley Wells, Matt, David Sisk, Hans. I wish it was just Han. I know it's your name, Hans, but I kind of want you to be Han Solo right now. I want Han Solo to be a patron. Also, thanks to Mike Sumption and Bokanagra. I'm sure I'm butchering your name. I apologize. Also, thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H, LVE, Peter Williams, and the latest edition, Maddock. Thank you, guys. Keep those iTunes reviews coming to the Tavern Brawl listing on iTunes if you listen. Vross Nightwing, Donkey Doodle Dandy with the best name this week, and Squinty Eyes. Thank you guys so much for leaving those reviews. So that's going to do it. Follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. Catch us live this Tuesday for our next Prime episode at 4 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/AMoveTV. You can also catch us live on virtually any device thanks to alphageekmedia.com, and big fat thanks to BrianGriffithMusic.com for our intro music. Dills, where can folks find you when you're not running off to see Batman vs. Superman?
Yeah, well, pretty soon you're going to find me at apparently what's a snooze fest, Batman vs. Superman.
I have faith. I love Superman.
You have faith and you have hope? Okay, well, I'm just going to walk in and not expect anything, and we're going to have some cocktails. And we're
My
just gonna enjoy
expectations
ourselves
are so
regardless.
low, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy some of it.
Yeah. I'm just going to watch it for the lulz at this point. And if it happens to surprise me and be better than what people are saying, then that'll be great. But not holding my hopes up for that. But
Yeah.
outside of that, catch me on Twitter. I'm at Willie Dills. My stream is twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. And big announcement, the Patreon is live. So you guys can go check out the personal Willie Dills Patreon, which is going to feed the stream as well as YouTube content, which is forthcoming. But basically, there's stuff in there. You guys can go see it all. It's just Willie Dills. So you can just search for that there, or just patreon.com/WillieDills. And there's actually a way to, if let's say you wanted monthly Hearthstone sessions, you can get that. That's a thing. So
I like that.
Yeah, so go check it out.
I like that a lot. Awesome. Jocelyn, what about you?
You can find me right here on AMove TV every Wednesday night doing the Gamers In. You can also follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at Joss Plays.
Sweet. By the way, on Batman vs. Superman, the one thing I can take solace in is that, and this was true of Man of Steel and it's still true now, I'm just glad we finally have a Superman who has muscles. Like, that's nice.
Sure.
Now we just need to work on getting a Wonder Woman with muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's got her wonder powers don't come through muscles, right?
Well, I mean, she's an Amazon, which are like
That is
hulking,
true. That is
massive,
true.
badass ladies. So, anyways, if you can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art, I can be found at nomanart.com doing graphic design. I'll be on Into the Nexus later this evening if you're watching live, talking about Heroes of the Storm with Mr. Kyle Ferguson and Jeff Kanata, who's going to join us tonight. And I can be found on The Angry Nerd, talking to myself. That's going to do it. We'll see you for the Prime episode this Tuesday. Until then, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!
Woo!